Hey there, folks. Are you passionate about democracy and concerned about the rise of authoritarianism? I'm Joanne, Kevin's wife, and I've seen him give everything to this work. That's why Coffee with Democrats matters, lifting up stories, building connections, and keeping democracy strong. So tune in every Tuesday at 7 p.m. for 30 minutes of conversation with elected officials, candidates, and Democratic influencers, only on Coffee with Democrats. So join me in welcoming the Executive Director and host of Coffee with Democrats, my husband, Kevin Dawson.
Here we are. Hello, everyone. As you might know, I am not Kevin Dawson, but this is Coffee with Democrats. And someone new is in the hot seat tonight because you're running for office.
I am.
Kevin Dawson, tell us about that.
I'm running for labor commissioner. It's an exciting time for me. It's something that I'm really looking forward to this campaign. As you know, I've campaigned once before for a statewide thing. It wasn't exactly a statewide office for public office, but I enjoyed going out and meeting people. When I stopped campaigning, I really missed it. So I'm ready to get on the road. I think that's where most people think I'm a little bit nutty and crazy because I enjoy the campaign. I enjoy getting out on the road and meeting people and spending time with people, shaking hands and kissing babies. I love doing all of those things, and I'm enjoying this opportunity to be able to do that again.
That's wonderful. Well, I've seen you on the campaign trail, so I do know, I can vouch for the fact that you did really enjoy it. And you ran a great campaign.
Well,
so I'm excited to have you in this space.
Right.
And I'm excited in part because you're a part of an incredible class of candidates. In 2026, we have over 100 Democrats putting their names on the ballot.
That's amazing.
You know the value of that, of giving Oklahomans a choice.
Right.
So you are part of this really wonderful, dedicated, qualified class of candidates. So let's start with that. You're running for labor commissioner. Will you tell us about your background that qualifies you for this role?
This fits me so well. I spent 43 years working for the railroad industry. During that time, I worked both in labor and in management. I started as a very young person, directly out of high school. I became a union member as soon as I started working on the railroad, before my student trips were even done, and before I even received my first paycheck. I became a union member, belonged to the FLCO, the United Transportation Union Engineman. I enjoyed that status, or that membership. I enjoyed participating with a larger group of people. And so at 18 years old, I continued to grow. 14 months, this is something not very many people know about me, but 14 months after hiring on the railroad and going to work for them, I went through the process, accelerated my education, and I was promoted as a locomotive engineer, one of the youngest engineers in U.S. history.
Wow.
I was only 19 years old. Now imagine that, a 19-year-old kid.
That cannot happen very often. How often does this happen?
It can't happen anymore.
Oh, it's not even allowed anymore.
No, you have to spend at least 3 years on the railroad in train service before you're allowed to go in an engine service.
Well, you really impressed someone at the time then.
It worked out. This was before that law change took effect. But I went to work for the Missouri Pacific Railroad in Wichita, Kansas in 1979. I was promoted in 1980. And then from 1979 to 1989, we lived in Wichita, Kansas with Union Pacific merger. I then went to work for Union Pacific Railroad. It was just, I merged with that, our companies merged. So I never lost employment. We just changed paychecks basically. And the color of our locomotives changed. But then I went to work for came down here to Chickasha, Oklahoma in 1989, running as an engineer out of Chickasha to Wichita, Chickasha to Lawton, Chickasha to Oklahoma City. And so I did that for about 5 years, and then I went into management. After 15 years working on the railroad, I went into management, became a manager operating practices out in Green River, Wyoming. Beautiful place. It's like living in a rock pit, but other than that, it was very beautiful being in the Wasatch Mountains and being close to the Tetons and all the things that are available, Flaming Gorge, and it's a very beautiful place. And I enjoyed that immensely because that was on Abraham Lincoln's original transcontinental railroad.
No way.
And I enjoyed running trains. And my territory was Green River to Salt Lake City. So I had the mountainside of the railroad. I had the heavy grade working down the Wasatch. So I gained experience there teaching and qualifying engineers operating through that heavy grade territory. And I also worked on a new technology at the time that we see all the time now. I hate the way it's being abused, but they started a program then called distributed power. I became the author of several operating manuals those manuals are now worldwide in multiple languages, but I'm the one who created those manuals in Green River, Wyoming when we started distributed power. Wow. And so I started on the administrative side, the management side, working in trying to make sure that all the employees understood how to work those and the functions of that operation, because it's a little bit different than what the traditional locomotive on the front and caboose on the rear. I went through the transition of no cabooses. So, and then I went into different capacities. I moved to Marysville, Kansas as manager operating practices, again on working to Bailey Yard in North Platte, Nebraska. The world's largest classification yard is in North Platte. And so I worked in that facility in and out of it and out of Marysville, supervising somewhere in the neighborhood. It would vary. Sometimes I'd only have about 60 or 70 employees. Sometimes I'd have 200 or 300 employees that I supervised.
That's a lot of people.
It is. And especially engineers up in that area. I was able to be there when they were working on the red triangle, trying to get everything upgraded. So I went from having a single main track to double main track, where trains could pass each other without stopping and having to go in and kind of like a one-lane road or a one-lane bridge. You have to wait for people to get across the bridge before you can go. We did away with all that. We went to two lanes of traffic on the Marysville sub. Then I went to work for public safety, moved to Salem, Illinois, and I was responsible for Metro out of Chicago, all the operations in Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, a little bit of Arkansas, and a little piece of Tennessee. And so I supervised a very large area in public safety, and I was very successful at that, working with municipalities to improve public safety and prevent incidents from happening.
So important.
Yeah. And it was to me, it was a bellwether moment for me. The only problem with that was we were a long ways from home, and my dad was getting up in age, and I wanted to be closer to him. So I transferred from that into human resources. And so I was responsible. I moved back closer to home. I could be with my father at that point.
Good for you.
And but I was on the road all the time. They gave me the territory from basically Alexandria, Louisiana, all the way to Salt Lake City.
Ooh. And
I was hiring employees all the time.
It's a long way.
It is. And here's a story that I want to tell everybody. And this is why I'm such a strong union man. In 2017, I had a supervisor that was doing things that were very unethical, hiring way more people than what they wanted to. She and I had a disagreement on that. The vice president that was overseeing her told her, just get rid of him, fire him. He and I had a history with one another. Basically, they walked me off the street, out onto the street, dismissed me from the railroad, basically killed my career.
Wow. I
contacted the union. They said they can't do that. They've got to allow you to mark back up on your seniority. So they basically went to bat for me, and they worked very hard and got my seniority reestablished and got my employment reestablished. Also, they reestablished my seniority back to where it was supposed to be. So I was able to come down here and work back on my original seniority district in Chickasha. By that time, I was the oldest person on the roster, so I had my pick of all the jobs that were out there. But the union, they did a wonderful job. They did outstanding. And that was the Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineers, part of the Teamsters organization that I still belong to today. So I'm very much a committed union person. They saved my job. Could we say they saved my life? Well, who knows the hypotheticals, but it was a very stressful time that they helped me navigate through. And because of what they did, They actually put me in a position for retirement, which was better than what I would have if I'd have stayed where I was at. So
That's amazing.
yes, great stuff.
What a great story.
Yeah.
And actually, I really appreciate that you've taken us through all those details, because I think they apply to the job you're working towards.
Exactly.
I made a mistake because I am a rookie podcast host, and I did not tell the Coffee with Democrats viewers who I even am, Kevin. So I'm going to backtrack just a minute.
Yes.
Kevin allowed me to have this chair so he could be in the hot seat. I'm Erin Brewer. I'm the chair of the Oklahoma Democratic Party, and I am thrilled with all the candidates that get to come and talk about their roles and the jobs that they're seeking and why on Coffee with Democrats. This is such an incredible platform. And I said, Kevin, let's put you on the podcast. So he agreed to trade spots with me. Thank you for that. But that background that you just gave us really speaks to so many of the things that are important to a labor commissioner.
Right.
Both protecting workers and unions and their rights, and safety is a crucial thing that you touched on.
Yeah.
But also management and administration and business ownership. And there's an economic harmony that has to happen there. And I've heard you talk about the balance of the way that those things have to work together, of employee rights with business being able to grow. And so we talk about that, because that's so much of your background covers both of those things.
So one of the things that I want to do is I want to lean on the labor side that really saved my job, but at the same time, I can't turn my back on the businesses. You know, small business in Oklahoma is is the only growth that we see in our economy. And I don't want to turn my back on them. I want to foster growth within that. And I want to see all businesses succeed at a safe level. So I'm really interested in interacting with all the businesses. There's a lot of good actors in this state. That's where I want to focus on. There are also some bad actors. We want to go with corrective action, make sure that we get those people up to speed, bring them around. Don't operate with a heavy hammer, not at the beginning anyhow. Give people an opportunity to grow and change. I think if you give people the opportunity to grow and change, they will do that. I want to make sure that child labor is another big issue in the state of Oklahoma. We've got some movement to try to reduce the age limits and things like that. But you know what? There's restrictions involved. Let's make sure everybody's educated on what is allowed and not allowed when it comes to child labor. We also have wage theft that's going on, where employers will intentionally do things, shut down their operation for a few days and not pay their employees. They won't give them their pay stubs, which is required by law. So they can't even see how many hours that they have earned compared to their hourly wage, things like that. There's a big element to make sure, number one, we have to lead with making sure that they understand what they did. And if there's fines involved, we have to be sure and do that even-handedly all across the board, no favoritism whatsoever. So if a politician who owns a business that's big in Oklahoma politics has an elevator that's not been inspected and they won't allow inspectors in there, we're going to treat them just like we would anybody else. We're not going to play favorites to anybody. And so there's a lot of other aspects to that as well. The labor side of things, making sure that employee rights are upheld.
Yes.
I really want to work on that.
Whether it's a union shop or not,
Non-union,
employees
yes.
have rights.
So I don't want to be that person who says this is a right to work state. I'm going to honor that. That's the law of the land.
Mm-hmm.
I want to encourage people to have unions, but I can't force them to do it, and I'm not going to force them to do it either. All I can do is use good encouragement. But those people who have union shops, I want to support them 100% because and advocate for unions, because unions, again, they've saved my job, but they do a lot of good work to help with health, welfare, benefits, all of that, as well as just the general wage increases and staying up with the cost of living.
That's right. We've all benefited from the union movement, right? Weekends and reasonable work hours and working conditions. You're totally right. We have to keep those things going.
Right. So I'm excited about working on that side of it. I'm going to give a shout out. We have a very good labor commissioner right now. I'm not going to go in there and clean house and undo things that labor commissioner has already got in place. I'm a person that believes in plan, do, check, and adjust, continuous improvement. if you have something that's working very well, let's reevaluate it. Let's make it work better. And I think if we just engage employees at the Labor Department, we talk about what can be improved, start working on initiatives to get those put in place, we can actually make this department even better than what it is right now. And it's operating now at a stellar place, someplace that I think 10 years ago, people in Oklahoma would have never guessed that the Labor Department would be at where we are right now.
It's really wonderful to have an agency in our state that's actually doing well, because let's be honest, there's several that aren't. And I think part of that is because Oklahomans get to elect our labor commissioner instead of it be appointed.
Right.
We've not seen very good appointments by this current governor, right? So I love what you're saying about giving good care, about being a good steward of a department that is working well.
Correct.
Part of that we know because it's not in the news.
Right.
Right? We're not seeing lots of workplace injuries, deaths. I mean, those are things that the labor commissioner really has to be thinking about.
You know, and with my history in safety, you know, writing safety rules, making sure that people are certified with the General Code of Operating Rules on the railroad, those are transferable skills that I have that we can transfer to other certifications for safety as well. There's a lot of wonderful initiatives that are already in place by the Labor Department that we need to continue to foster and grow to help people when we're working around electricity or fall hazards or closed spaces, making sure that we have proper ventilation or proper training just to do a site assessment before we start the work so that we know what we're doing and we can avoid the accidents at the very beginning.
So important.
Yes.
It's so important. And I think this is kind of a good segue into you have some opponents on the Republican side that probably would not be the kind of steward that you would be of a department that is strong and could be stronger.
Right.
Do you have concerns about that?
I do, especially when you start reading bios about wokeness and things like that. Look, it's not about classifying individuals as this or that. It's about treating every single person out there fairly according to the law and not having any kind of favoritism towards one specific group or another specific group, but being even-handedly and treating everybody fairly from the very beginning, making sure that we treat everybody with respect. You know, Oklahoma has an EEO policy. I want to make sure that I live up to that EEO policy as well. So it's not just me. It's not just Kevin. There's a whole set of laws that are out there that give the direction and focus, the statutes that tell us exactly what the labor commissioner is going to do. Guess what? I'm going to stay in my lane.
Good for you. But this is a job that really does touch every community in the
Sure
state
it does, yeah.
and impacts so many families, even if they're not aware of it. So it's a really important role. What would make you the most excited about earning this position?
You know, the goal is to get to zero. Having zero safety incidents. That would be the common goal. Even if we can't get to zero, if we can see significant reductions from our safety incident rate and making sure that we have those rates declining in the right direction, that is one of the things that I think is going to be so important for us. The Labor Department only has about 80 employees in it. So I want to make sure that those 80 employees are treated with respect. They get the pay that they deserve, but I also want to make sure that they also get the training they need so that they can help us get to zero. Zero is going to be the ultimate goal, that I'm going to walk in with a big badge on the back of my shirt that says, you know, zero incidents. That's our safety policy for for all of the workers in Oklahoma and all the employers. But, and I think it's something that it's aspirational. I'm going to use that term, but I'm going to say it up front, not in the back.
Not in the back.
Yeah. I'm going to say it all the time that the aspirational goal is not a single person loses their life in Oklahoma because of a workplace accident.
I mean, what an incredible goal, and what an incredible working environment that would create for everyone in our state. That's a huge economic boost when we have a safe, healthy, active workforce that's earning the pay that they deserve, which means they're better employees, right? They're more dedicated employees, and that means our businesses are more successful. And I think you and I agree, I think Democrats agree, that one of the best things we can do for families is allow them to earn a living where they can pursue the American dream. And that solves so many of our problems, doesn't it? And I think you'd be directly contributing to that, to the American dream.
You know, we've got a state question that's out there right now that hopefully all the people in the state of Oklahoma will vote for it, and that we can move our minimum wage from $7 and something up to 15. It's a process, but it's something that is sorely needed in this state. We can no longer be in the bottom of the rankings when it comes to outcomes for the people. Economic outcomes. Yeah. We've got so many bad things. When it comes to incarcerations, that's outside my purview as the commissioner. But again, we look at education. We look at all these outcomes that we have, incarcerations, all that stuff that's happening. We've got to get away from that. And the best way to do that is start working as a team, start thinking as a team, and start coming together and saying, you know what, we're no longer a flyover state here in Oklahoma, but we're going to take on initiatives that are world class.
Well, I think that's so important. And I think financial stability solves, like I said, so many problems, including preventing incarceration often, right? It improves education outcomes. It would resolve so many things for us as a state. And you would be such a key component of that kind of growth. And I agree with you. We need every Democrat having June 16th on their calendar. We've got to vote yes on State Question 832. It is time. It is far past time to raise the minimum wage. And I think businesses understand that.
Right.
Ethical businesses are paying their folks a wage that's above the minimum wage.
I'm actually seeing several TikToks, YouTubes, people putting little posts out on social media saying, I own a business and I pay my employees a living wage. So it's good for us to bring it up. And it helps everybody.
Absolutely. Yeah. It does help everyone.
Right.
And so I think the statistic I heard is about 500,000 Oklahomans, including 200,000 children that would be directly impacted. That's a huge number.
Right.
Really important. Okay, let's get into campaign world. Could we a little bit?
Yes.
Tell us what a Kevin Dawson for Labor Commissioner campaign is going to look like. Where will we be seeing you?
Well, I'm planning on traveling the state. It's really important for me to be seen and be able to talk and listen. Those are the two things that I want to do. I want to be seen, but I want to listen. I am a good listener. I love listening, but I want to be able to take an action plan away from that and be able to bring something back at the end. So, during campaign mode, I'm going to be listening, but I'm also going to be talking about what my plans are, trying to keep this wonderful organization, this great group of people, these dedicated employees, keep them focused on what they're doing, keep them at a world-class standard, and let's continue to grow this. Like I said, plan, do, check, and adjust is the process that I want to do. Continuous improvement.
Plan, do, check, adjust. You say it like it's almost one word because it's just second nature to you.
Yeah.
Explain it just a little bit.
So,
plan, do, check, adjust.
Let's review all the plans that they have on all the different departments at the Labor Department. Let's go through all of their plans. Let's make sure that we're doing what those plans actually say. Then we're going to check. We have to have matrices that tell us how are we comparing ourselves to what our plan actually has. Then when we look at that matrix, if we're not living up to it, then we're going to make adjustments so that we're constantly improving all the time. So it's a continuous improvement cycle that we have to have the mindset within the Department of Labor that we're going to make sure that we're not satisfied at where we're at now. We've got to look at where we can be 10 years from now and then work on initiatives to get us there.
Yeah, that's so smart, and that's so simple, but it makes so much sense. And I think if more of us were doing that, we would all be better. Okay, so you're going to be on the road.
Yes.
And you'll be visiting, I'm sure, a lot of communities in Oklahoma. And I really believe that your background and your history will resonate, and it makes perfect sense for the position that you're choosing.
Right.
What are you going to need for this campaign to be successful?
So what does every candidate need right now? Every candidate needs one thing in order to get them going, and that's financial stability and financial support. And I'm asking for people to join our team. Come aboard. Don't just be a financial supporter, but come on board. This is a railroad metaphor that I use. Come aboard and let's work together. Financially support us, but be there with us as well. We're going to put out lots of social media. There's no candidate that's going to be out there that's going to be on social media more than me. I will be on there almost every single day talking about this campaign, but also in the field, meeting people and making sure that I listen to what they say and try to make sure that I'm taking that back with me so that when I get elected, we can actually institute some of these things. Now, that being said, I need financial support. Please go to kevinldawson.com.
I did put it on the screen. Rookie podcaster, but I got it done.
Yeah. Go to kevinldawson.com. Over in the lower right-hand corner, you'll see a looks like a locomotive axle. It's a drive axle off of the UP 844, one of the locomotives that I've actually driven, a steam locomotive that I've actually driven.
So cool.
And I've put that on there so that, hey, come on board the train. Let's make sure that we keep this train rolling together.
I love that. Okay, so please, everyone, go visit the website. Not only can you make a contribution, which is absolutely the fuel of a campaign.
Right.
That's how you can travel. It's how you will end up with yard signs and materials you can give to folks that you're meeting, voters that you're meeting, stickers, the things that allow people to know that you are running and that you should have their vote. And right now, I think you're looking for some founding donors to really get this campaign launched. This is a really exciting time to be a contributor.
I am, and I'm really trying to build that up. We only just got a few more days left, and we just have to, like I said, just a few more donors. We're going to meet the $1,000 that we need in order to qualify or to file. And I'm going to be there tomorrow, supporting other candidates, taking pictures with all the candidates, and as a group, being part of the overall team of candidates who are going to be at the Capitol tomorrow. But my actually filing is going to take place at 2 p.m. on Friday. I'm going to bring my family in, and we're going to have a few pictures. I think right now it's just my daughter and maybe her family and my wife and I. And there shouldn't be as much of a crowd from what I was told. I
think you're right. Yeah.
I went and talked to the Election Commission. They said, 2 p.m. on Friday looks like a really good time to get some pictures, enjoy the moment, and not be rushed. So that's my quote.
Good for you for enjoying the moment.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a big deal. I got to run for state senate in 2024, and my family went with me to filing. Yeah. And it is really special.
Yeah.
It's a big deal to put your name on the ballot.
Right.
And the truth is, most of us will vote a lot of times in our lifetime, but very few of us will have our own name on the ballot. So I'm thankful that you are going to go and make the most of that moment of officially putting your name on the ballot.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. It gives me a little bit extra time too, in order to make sure that I've got all my I's dotted, my T's crossed. I don't have anything out of place.
Yeah. So that website is still on screen, because I really want to encourage you all, jump on and make a contribution. Let's get Kevin to filing, and let's make sure that he has a strong foundation as he's launching this campaign, and we'll be at the Capitol Wednesday and Friday this week.
Yes.
It's going to be a party at the Capitol.
We have
so many Democrats coming through. I'm going to be there cheering all of you on, and I just can't wait.
I'm the same way. I can't wait to be there tomorrow, be there with the excitement, and just see a whole group, a class of people like you talked about. This class, they're friends, and having this reunion at the Capitol tomorrow is going to be very special.
Okay, I have a couple things that I want you to speak about. You were a really dedicated Democrat. Will you just share some of your personal values on why this party is meaningful to you, why you're a part of it?
And I don't want to be offensive to anybody. I believe in all religions have the right to do what they want to do. But as a Christian, I live by very simple values. And the Democratic Party, to me, the ethos that Jesus Christ put into place for all of us to follow, the Democratic Party follows that better than anybody else. Caring for your neighbor, caring for the people who are in need the most, making sure that we have, the least of those, the least of us is cared for. So Matthew 22:37-40 is my, it's my mantra. It's my go-to every time, who do you trust? You believe in the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and you also treat your neighbor as yourself.
That's beautiful.
Those are the things that I believe in the most.
That's awesome. Okay, and then I've heard you tell a story about being on a train And I mean, you've seen some of the most beautiful parts of our country, but I know there's something really special to you about being a train engineer. Will you just tell us a story? Give us a little bit of a picture of what that feels like.
So my dream job, I was able to do it in multiple places, from Green River, Wyoming to Salt Lake City on the Utah Centennial Special in 2000 or 1999, I believe it was, Utah Centennial. Being able to pull the governor's wife on that train. I've been on so many beautiful things. When you're on that train as a new engineer, it's overwhelming. But as I gained experience, it became a joy to be able to be on that train and know that I was controlling every aspect of that train. It was all my responsibility. You know, from Marysville, Kansas, being asked to take two of our largest coal trains, put them together as one train, and then operate it from North Platte, Nebraska, all the way to Marysville, Kansas, on New Year's Day on January 1st, 2000. You remember the Y2K?
Y2K.
Yes. And they said, we're going to shut down all the other trains. Nobody's going to run, but you're going to run the first train because we want to make sure all the systems work. And I was the only train working that night. And I was the engineer on that and operating that train all the way across the road without incident. 32,000 tons. Think about that. 32,000 tons.
Tons.
Yeah. Many ships that are on the ocean don't weigh that much.
Right.
And I was operating one of the largest land vehicles on Earth at the time.
Wow.
And
that's
there's
amazing.
Just so many stories that I have. I mean, my life as a locomotive engineer, I've got a chronology that I'm putting together. I've already got, several chapters written, and it's a fun experience that I want to be able to share that with my children and grandchildren.
I love that. Okay, but now you ride the road a little bit differently.
I do.
How do you like to be on the road nowadays?
So now, whenever there's two things. First of all, my wife and I, we love to ride motorcycles together. We've got our own YouTube channel, JO&KE Travel Series. We put out travel series videos on that.
Of course you do.
Yes. And we love doing that. We love having those experiences. So if you get a chance, go watch and listen to Joanne and the joy that she has riding her motorcycle from Uray, Colorado down to Durango through one of the most beautiful canyons in the world. And the joy that we have just talking to one another and just having that experience. But we also like to ride trains together. We love to get on
passengers.
As passengers, yes, getting on here in Norman and going down to Fort Worth and just spending the day around Fort Worth in the downtown district, getting back on the train that night and coming home. Just spending a day down there.
That's wonderful.
We love going across the mountains too in Colorado, going across over to Glenwood Springs and enjoying the hot springs and everything. We do that at Christmas time almost every year.
What a fun trip. Yeah. Okay, so I know, one, you're going to find absolute joy traveling Oklahoma over the next several months through November. But the other things I hope listeners have heard tonight is you're a caretaker. You really take things very seriously, that people are safe, that things are well cared for, that things run well while you're there and after you're gone. Yeah. Those are really important things. You've adapted to technology and to changes. That's not something that everyone does very well. But in the labor world, things are changing kind of quickly. I think it's important that our commissioner be able to adapt to new technology. So we've heard all these things from you today that are so applicable to this job you're pursuing.
It is, yeah. But thank you for those kind words. But I think I've got a very diverse background, but I also have the detail orientation to know how to, bring it down to the actual, penny on the table and say, all right, we have to meet the goals.
That's so good. So I've said multiple times that I'm a rookie podcast host. So what did I not ask you that I needed to ask you? What else would you like to share?
I think we covered a really good, and this has been a very enjoyable time. So thank you for interviewing me. And I want to thank all the people who came and to watch you host this Coffee with Democrats.
Well, yeah, this has been so fun. Thank you again. Thank you for trusting me. I really enjoyed this role
It's been
tonight.
A lot of fun. I stick to 3 questions when I'm the host. Who are you? Why are you running? And why should people vote for you? Maybe that's the one thing that you haven't asked is why should people vote for me?
Why should people vote Kevin Dawson for Labor Commissioner?
It's all of the qualifications, all the good things that I've talked about so far, but all the bad things that have also made me who I am today, make me qualified, uniquely qualified for this position that I think very few people who have put their name in the hat will equal that qualification. So I'm looking forward to meeting people. I'm looking forward to leading people, but I'm also going to lean heavily on that bag that I carry on the back of my shoulders and be able to pull that bag of tricks out and implement a lot of very wonderful things that I think the people of Oklahoma will appreciate.
Well, I think that's so great. And the thing is this is a winnable race.
This
is a turnout race. So when we're talking about voters and earning their trust, there's no reason that you shouldn't earn everyone's vote. You are the most qualified candidate in this race.
Yeah.
I think that's really important. I think that's going to rise. People are going to see that. But what I want Democrats specifically to know is if we will turn out to vote, we absolutely have the power to make change, especially when we're talking to our neighbors, regardless of party, about who we're voting for and why.
I think that's an important thing. And we just, down the road, little county in Texas called Tarrant County, Fort Worth. They turned blue. And they turned blue because it was a protest vote. Protest votes are happening all across this nation right now. There's no race that is safe for a particular party right now. All of them are up for grabs. And I think we have the most even playing field of any time in our lives, basically, well, in the last 20 years anyway.
Yeah, I agree. This is a crucial election year.
Yeah.
And I think what's on everyone's minds outside of party is it feels like those in power aren't really working for the people, right? Costs are out of control, particularly in Oklahoma, where we allegedly have low costs, but our home insurance rates are the highest anywhere. Our wages are lower than some other places. We're just struggling in ways that we don't have to.
Well,
we could do it differently.
We were already hurting economically before, and now we're paying $1.25, well, sometimes $1.50 more per gallon of gas. All of it, eggs are going up, bread's going to go up, milk's going to go up. All of that is going to go up. We're going to be right back to where we were the first go around with this guy, that we're going to be right back struggling with our economy and trying to dig ourselves out. And the next person who takes over is going to be taking over a hell of a mess.
It's the economy, stupid. Didn't someone say that once?
Yes, exactly right.
And your role, I think you're going to do such a good job of connecting your role to the economy, to economic growth.
Yeah.
Because if we don't manage our labor pool well, it really hurts us all.
It does. It does. And that's one of the, I keep looking at that. Just get elected. If we can just get over the hump on that, we can really institute a lot of very good things. Again, I'm not saying anything wrong with where we're at with the current labor commissioner, but I think there's some constraints there that if we can just get beyond those, we can make a whole lot of difference. And if we can turn out the House or the Senate and make it a closer race where we can actually start filibustering some of these bills, we can actually start instituting and have a voice in this, a voice for the people, not toward the people. You heard me say this 1,000 times when I was doing my other thing with with the Democratic Party. The Republican Party wants to control the will of the people, but Democrats will do the will of the people.
Such an important distinction. Such an important distinction. Okay, I loved what you said. Come aboard with Kevin Dawson. The website's on the screen. I'm going to plug it one more time. Please go there. $25, $50, $100 would make such a difference.
It will.
And it would show your commitment to doing right in Oklahoma, treating workers right, but also honoring ethical business and ensuring that they have the tools to maintain safe workplaces.
Right.
So crucial. Well, with that, I think we're ready to conclude.
Well, it's been great to be on here with you. And I want to thank you for allowing me to come on Coffee with Democrats with you tonight.
It was so fun. Yes. And how did you like being over there in that chair?
I don't. I'm sweating.
You did a wonderful job. I think all your viewers are going to agree. Thank you for joining us for Coffee with Democrats with Kevin Dawson for Labor Commissioner. This is a race to watch. This is a big election year. It's going to take all of us, but we can win. Kevin can win.
Thank you again. Thank you, everybody, for watching.
Coffee with Democrats is broadcast from the multimedia studio inside the Cleveland County Democrats office with their gracious permission to use the space. Our thanks to the Cleveland County Democrats Central Committee and Chair Jamie Shelton for accommodating our Tuesday night show.